Alright, so I'm on the way to the vet this morning to get our dog, and I had a little bit of time from between here and there, and I wanted to talk about something. So this morning I was scrolling, I come across this video. This young guy, probably in his mid-20s, early 20s, mid-20s, and the title on the video said that working 40 hours a week is a joke, and you're feeding the system, and it's stupid, something along those lines. And so I wanted to see what this youngster had to say, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to bash him. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I mean, I think overall he had good intentions, but I think that sometimes, especially some of the things he said, they can they're not really necessarily all that good, in my opinion. So he went on to say that a person should be working on themselves, and I get that. They should use their spare time, and people were just mindlessly working. And this cat was from London, and he was talking about, you can watch in London people mindlessly going to work, back and forth, working the 9 to 5. First of all, I'm from Texas, and I don't know anybody who's just working 40 hours a week and getting by. Usually it's 2 people working in a household, and they're usually working more than 40 hours a week. Maybe they slow down when they get a little bit older and they get a little bit more a little bit more of assets behind them, but they sure ain't when they're younger. They're working 60 hours a week plus. Now, that's first. And I understand what he's saying to an extent, and I do think that you should be working on yourself to do what you want to do. But he basically said that it was stupid for anybody to be working 40 hours a week or working for somebody else to build somebody else's dream, yada, yada, yada. And he went on to say that he started talking about this 4-hour work week, and how if you work on 4 hours, you don't really need to work but 4 hours a week, and all that, because you're hyper focused on what you really want to do. And I get it, but I get that in a way. But here's the thing, like, I think the whole point is to find something you want to do. And he constantly said stuff about it's so narrow, we're so narrow-minded. Everybody who works 9 to 5, that's a narrow-minded way, and you're not thinking outside of the box, and they don't want people. And he brought up the quote of Rockefeller saying he wanted a world of workers, not thinkers, and things like that. It's kind of the same thing as there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. So I get that side of it. But here's my thing. Everybody can't just be a content creator, or everybody can't just do have their own business. Everybody can't just do that. I mean, because if everybody did that, then how would society work, right? So, like, if all the police officers decided one day, hey, it's stupid to work 40 hours or to answer to somebody, so you know what? I'm not gonna do this no more. I'm just gonna do I'm gonna work 2 hours a week or 4 hours a week. First of all, that's not realistic. Most people that have their own, my wife has her own business, she sure don't work no 40 hours a week. She's working at work and then coming home and working. I feel like people who have a business are working harder and more hours than people who have a business or who work for somebody else. That's one thing right there. And the second thing is it's like I said, what if all the police officers decided, hey, I'm gonna go home? So then the crime rate would go up, I can tell you that. So you'd be getting robbed. What if all of the correctional officers decided the same thing, and then you don't have nobody to watch those that are incarcerated? What if the teachers decide, hey, you know what, I'm gonna work from home, and I'm only gonna work 2 hours a day? Well, it'd be pretty hard to educate everybody if they're just working a couple hours a day. I don't think they would get the same education. What about the highway workers? What if they all decided, hey, let's just go home because this 25-year-old told us that, working 40 hours a week is stupid, and okay, so now we don't have highways to drive on. And all of those people who are mindlessly going back and forth to work, as you called it, they're working on a bigger project. I know that that cat was driving a nice vehicle. They could have been working for the company that created those vehicles. All those positions are important. And I think the thing is you want to find, I do agree with him about working on yourself. If you're not happy in what you're doing and there's something that you have a calling to do that you feel like that you're more interested in, then you should work towards that, yes. But all of these jobs, they're important. They're important. Everybody's doing these jobs are important. Even if they're working for a big corporation and you feel like they're just feeding the system or feeding well, you know what? The system's important, man. Like, everybody can't be sitting around a campfire singing Kumbaya, and you know what I mean? Like, this is the real world. And I think that it's a very narrow-minded way. As this person put it, it was narrow-minded, wasn't thinking outside the box. I think you're thinking very narrow-minded when you think that every individual could just work for 4 hours a week and this is all you got to do is work on this and everything would just... That's not how it's going to work out. It's not that simple. I think that is simplifying things way more than what they are. I mean, and I think that that's a very naive, unexperienced way of looking at things. And I also think that it's a very selfish way of looking at things. Look, if you're only focused on going to work so you can make money for your time and you can make everything's about you, I mean, you're not contributing to society. You're not doing it. How are you? And here's another thing he brought up, which I thought was, he said that, you know, you're giving up time for something you'll never get back is time. And that's true, right? And he didn't agree with not being with your family as much as you are being at work more than you are with your family. But here's my thing. I've raised kids until they're grown, and the thing about it is look, if you were with your family all the time, and you were with just your kids and just your wife or your husband, whatever, and y'all were together 24/7, and y'all traveled the whole world together, you can see the whole world in detail probably in a couple years, then what you gonna do? Y'all gonna go just sit on the beach together? What are y'all gonna do? And what impact as a family do you have on the rest of the world? What are you here for? Because he was right in one thing, life does go by fast. At the end of life, if you just was out on off-grid living with your family and y'all were just together the whole time until you died, well, what benefit is there in that besides just being together? What good have you done anybody else? You know what I mean? What good have you done the rest of the world? And I'm not trying to sit up here all holier than thou or Mr. Righteous or anything, but just think about it. I've thought about that. What if you had a whole lot of money and you had a huge place and you could just be there with just your family and friends? Well, what impact would you have on the rest of the world? Like, when you go to work with those people who are mindlessly going back and forth, you can have an effect on those people, an impact, and it can make the world better. And I know that I'm getting a little off and I ramble on and I get off subject a little bit, but the thing is I don't script anything I write. It's off the cuff, you know, I just freestyle it. But I did want to say that, and hey, look, I think that what the guy thinking and everything and what he's saying, I think that he has good intentions, but I just don't want it to mislead people, that kind of message, because I don't agree with that at all. You know what I mean? Some of the things I could see what he was trying to do and he had good intentions, but I think that's a very negative way of thinking and a very selfish way of thinking, because we always want to blame, like, oh, it's the system, oh, it's this. No, society, our community, our people, everybody needs these things. And to undermine what you're doing or what somebody else is doing and saying, and to kind of degrade it in a way and say that it's stupid, it's a joke. No, it ain't stupid and it ain't no joke. People need to work to make the world go round. Like, what if doctors thought that way? What if doctors said, hey, you know what? This is stupid. So now you ain't got no doctors, because it takes a lot longer than 4 hours a week to become a doctor, I'm pretty sure. What about engineers? all these vehicles we drive, the machinery we have, the technology we have, all these things. It takes a lot longer than working a few hours a week, right, to become an engineer. I think you find what you want to do in life and you work towards it. And all the time, don't ever think that you're better, and don't ever think that those jobs of those people, I don't care if they're the garbage man or they work for the city or what they do, those jobs are very important. And I understand that you know, they shouldn't get paid, they don't get paid as much as the next person, and there's a reason for that, because it takes a lot longer to become an engineer than it does a garbage man. That doesn't mean that job's not still important, right? So I just wanted to say that. I wanted to put that out there. Don't believe everything that you hear. Don't just go with everything you hear that some youngster that has got on some nice clothes and a nice driving a nice vehicle or something's telling you on YouTube or whatever. I mean, that would be a very closed-minded way of thinking. That would be not thinking outside of the box. Because if you think that everybody can just go and work a few hours a week and just do exactly what just they want to do, you're not thinking outside of the box at all. You're thinking very narrow-minded, and that's a very naive way to look at the world. But anyway, I love all y'all. God bless y'all, and I'll see you on the next one.